Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tracing really an astonishing journey. It takes us from the sacred heart of an African kingdom all the way to, well, the bustling art galleries of New York, and then back again.
It's quite the story.
It really is. It's the story of a single, powerful object, the Afo-a-Kom statue. Now, you've brought us this fascinating collection of sources, articles, research papers, even some personal notes, all digging into this remarkable saga. So our mission for this deep dive is to sort of unravel this complex narrative, understand profoundly different perspectives involved, and see what this incredible Odyssey, as some call it, can teach us about cultural heritage, ownership, and identity.
Indeed. And what's so striking about the Afo-a-Kom, I think, is how this one wooden figure became such a catalyst for a global conversation. It really wasn't just about, a stolen object.
No?
It became the focal point for these huge discussions on cultural identity, the very meaning of an artifact, and this urgent need for what we now call repatriation.
The return of cultural objects.
Exactly. Returning them to their people of origin. So we'll explore not just what happened, but the profound why behind it all, why it mattered so much.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's an incredible story. Starting back in 1973 in the Kingdom of Cameroon. Our sources, they paint a really vivid picture. A 10-foot tall, 150-pound wooden statue known as the Afo-a-Kom. A truly monumental piece. It just vanished.
Just gone.
Gone. And this wasn't just some carving you'd find at a market. This was sacred. A royal figure considered absolutely fundamental to the Kom people's identity, their survival even. Its disappearance just sent shockwaves through the kingdom.
Which, immediately raises the question.
Yeah.
How does something so significant, so deeply woven into a community's fabric just disappear like that?
Yeah.
And the sources reveal it wasn't like a sudden public theft. It was clandestine. Sneaky. The statue later surfaces, maybe not surprisingly, on the international art market.
Of course.
It was initially sold in 1973 to an American art dealer, John Eagley, for what now seems like, well, peanuts.
Yeah.
$1,500.
$1,500 for something like that.
Right. Then, just 2 years later, 1975, it gets resold for $25,000. And eventually, it appears for sale at Gallery K in New York for a staggering $60,000.
Wow. $60,000.
Yeah. And Eagley's initial refusal to reveal his source, claiming he got it legitimately, that only fueled suspicions, obviously. Our sources detail that later, under pressure, he attributed the sale to a Kom missionary.
A missionary?
Yeah, a man from a leading Kom family. Someone who absolutely should have known the statue's, inalienable status. That detail alone kind of shines a light on the complex pressures involved, both internal and external.
Okay, here's where the story takes a turn that sounds almost like a movie script. This illicit transaction, even though it was done quietly, it couldn't stay hidden forever. Our sources credit a New York Times reporter, Fred Ferretti, with breaking the story in 1975.
Ferretti, yeah.
Can you picture the scene? He finds out about it not from some official press release, but from a woman at a dinner party.
Just overheard conversation.
Amazing. Right. She'd been told about it. Ferretti follows this whisper, this rumor, starts piecing together the paper trail. His New York Times article, plus a really powerful National Geographic piece by Sophia Burnham, just catapulted the Afo-Kom's plight onto the world stage.
Suddenly, everyone's talking about it.
Exactly. Think about that initial shock for the American public. A sacred cultural treasure, steeped in centuries of tradition, suddenly sitting there like a commodity in a New York gallery window. It just starkly exposed this huge gap in understanding, didn't it?
Absolutely. Between the Western view of art and the deep, often spiritual meaning artifacts hold for their original cultures. And that gap is just crucial for this whole deep dive.
Right.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the American and Western art world, they largely saw the Afo-a-Kom as an art object. Beautiful, valuable, sure, and tradable. Its worth was mainly aesthetic, monetary.
Yeah, how much is it worth?
Exactly. But for the Kom people, our sources are completely unequivocal. It was infinitely more. It was the absolute soul of the Pon people, the embodiment of their tribal unity, their political stability.
Not just a symbol, then.
Not just a symbol. Imagine like a living ancestor, a vessel holding their collective memory, their future. Its presence wasn't just decorative. It was believed to literally ensure the fertility of their land, the success of their harvests, the continuity of their royal lineage. Without it, the very fabric of their society felt like it was, well, unraveling.
So if it's the very soul, the guarantee of their existence, its absence must have created this profound, almost existential void. How did the Kom actually describe that loss?
Well, the sources explain that the Afo-a-Kom was more than carving. It was a living embodiment of their culture, a tangible link to their history, their rulers. It was integral to critical rituals.
Right.
Its presence was believed to guarantee the Kom lineage continuing. The reigning king, Nansem Ege, at the time it disappeared, he captured it so powerfully.
Yeah.
He said its loss was like a person losing their mind.
Losing their mind.
Yeah. He explicitly called it something of Kom, like a living, breathing part of their collective identity. This wasn't just, a cultural artifact. It was the spiritual and political anchor of their entire social structure, believed to embody the spirits of their ancestors, their vital connection to the world. Without it, there was this real fear their kingdom would just fall apart. Disunity, decline.
That really illustrates this stark, almost irreconcilable contrast, doesn't it?
Completely. While the Western art market saw an object to be bought and sold, appreciated for aesthetics, the Kom people saw an irreplaceable spiritual and political anchor.
Yeah.
And the sources explain, for the Kom, this connection to ancestral figures goes back centuries. These statues aren't just artistic representations, they're a tangible, revered link to their history, their past rulers, their collective identity. It's just a powerful lesson in how an object's value can be interpreted so differently across cultures.
Commerce versus existential identity.
Exactly. One rooted in commerce and aesthetics, the other in, identity and spiritual belief.
So the news hits New York. The statue's been found. This ignites an immediate, intense effort to bring it home.
Right away.
Our sources detail this fascinating mix. You've got international diplomacy, fervent public outcry, and even what some controversial accounts call a ransom payment.
The ransom aspect is tricky.
Very. The Kom people, led by King Nansem Neg, immediately declared it stolen, appealed for its return through every channel they could find, sending urgent messages to the American embassy in Yaoundé, Cameroon. They just demanded it back, unconditionally.
And what's truly remarkable here is the sheer number of different actors who got involved. You have the American embassy in Yaoundé playing this significant diplomatic role, trying to navigate a really delicate situation.
Yeah.
And crucially, Warren M. Robbins steps forward, the visionary founder, director of the National Museum of African Art in D.C.
Right, Robbins.
When Robbins learned about the statue's plight, he didn't see an opportunity for acquisition for his museum. He saw it as a chance for cultural change, and more profoundly, an ethical imperative.
So he wanted to help return it.
Precisely. He negotiated for the statue's acquisition, and I use that word carefully, from Gallery K, for $250,000.
Like $250,000.
Yeah, considerable sum back then, raised through a dedicated consortium of museums and individuals, including the Smithsonian. His goal was absolutely unequivocal: facilitate its return to Kom. Robbins believed the statue had been obtained in error, and it rightfully belonged with its people.
Okay, let's just underscore the nuances of that payment, though. The money given to Gallery K, it wasn't really a purchase in the usual art market sense, was it?
Not really, no. It was framed more like a payment for its release. More Diamond, the gallery owner, acknowledging the immense pressure and the ethical quandary, eventually stated it had been paid for in error and should be returned.
But meanwhile, King Nansem Meg and the Kom people, they were expressing immense anger, frustration at the whole idea.
Understandable.
Their position was totally unyielding. The statue is priceless. It cannot be bought or sold. It was stolen. It must simply be returned, no conditions. The king famously said, "The statue is part of my identity. It cannot be bought or sold."
Powerful words.
Our sources even recount him refusing an offer of like 100,000 CFA francs, about $400, just intended to quiet the matter.
Yeah.
Shows his unwavering commitment.
Yeah.
And the dilemma for the Cameroonian government and its embassy was profound. There just weren't any established international laws back then to directly address the theft of an artifact like this from a tribal kingdom, especially one not physically stolen from, say, a national museum.
Right, it fell into a kind of legal gray area.
Exactly. It highlighted this glaring vacuum in international heritage protection at the time.
Which forces us to confront this vital question, right?
Yeah.
How do you bridge that chasm between the monetary value placed on an object by one culture and the profound spiritual, historical, existential value placed on it by another?
It's fundamental.
And the sources highlight that the ransom, as some labeled it, wasn't paid as an endorsement of the illicit trade. Not at all. It was seen as a pragmatic, ethically driven path to secure its return. Figures like Warren Robbins, they acted out of this strong sense of moral obligation, especially given the lack of clear legal precedents.
So it was ethics driving it more than law?
I think so. The decision by Robbins and his consortium was driven by a belief in the statue's inherent cultural significance to the Kom, prioritizing its rightful place over legal tangles or financial gain. It really stands as this powerful example of ethical reasoning, proactive cultural diplomacy in the face of deep ambiguity. And it certainly helps set a new standard for discussing provenance.
The history of ownership.
Exactly. Where did this object really come from?
Well, ultimately, these remarkable efforts, they succeeded.
Thankfully, yes.
Our sources describe the triumphant return of the Afo-a-Kom to Cameroon in late 1975. The statue was carefully escorted back to the Kom Kingdom, and its arrival was met with just an explosion of joy.
Right.
Immense celebrations, traditional dances, heartfelt ceremonies that lasted for days.
It's a huge moment.
Oh, absolutely. A moment of profound joy, a collective sigh of relief, and this powerful reaffirmation of identity for the Kom people. The sources vividly describe thousands of Kom people dancing, singing, celebrating for 3 days straight, affirming their renewed sense of unity, spiritual well-being.
Mm-hmm.
King Nansom, filled with emotion, he spoke of the statue's return as a new birth for his people, marking an end to that fear that their kingdom would decline. The return wasn't just physical, it was a spiritual homecoming.
And this entire Odyssey, the whole journey of the Afo-a-Kom, it provides such a powerful illustration of how knowledge of different cultural values, when it's understood and applied with empathy, can drive meaningful action.
Yeah.
It became a landmark case in the sort of burgeoning discussion of art repatriation and protecting cultural heritage. It undeniably brought to light the vastly different ways cultures view objects, commodities versus sacred living symbols.
It really forced the issue.
It did. And more importantly, it highlighted the critical need for some kind of international framework to address these issues, pushing museums and collectors worldwide to critically examine the provenance of their acquisitions. Where did this stuff come from?
Asking the hard questions.
Exactly. The sources emphasized this event served as a crucial precedent. It signaled that the world wouldn't, or shouldn't, tolerate the clandestine removal and sale of sacred artifacts that held such profound meaning for a community. It forced institutions to confront the ethical implications of their collections, to consider the moral dimension of cultural heritage with really new urgency.
So what does this remarkable story mean for you listening today? This deep dive, it shows us how a single object, just a wooden statue, can become this potent vessel for understanding complex international relations, the clash of cultural values, even the forging of new legal and ethical precedents. The story of the Afo-a-Kom isn't just about a statue's journey, is it? It's about that universal human need for connection to heritage, the profound emotional impact of loss and recovery, and the surprising power of a narrative, a story, to bring about change.
Absolutely. And think about the impact of those New York Times and National Geographic articles.
Huge impact.
It underscores the immense power of media in shaping public opinion, influencing the outcome of these complex, emotionally charged situations. It reminds us that culture isn't static, and the way we interact with global heritage is this ongoing, vital conversation.
It really is.
And this whole Odyssey raises an important question that still resonates today, doesn't it? In a world where information flows freely, cultural artifacts cross borders constantly. How do we continually balance that universal appreciation of art with the specific, often sacred claims of the cultures that created them?
That's the ongoing challenge.
It is. The Afo-a-Kom's journey reminds us that an object's true value often lies far beyond its monetary worth. It's deeply rooted instead in the identity, the spirituality, the collective memory of its people.
A powerful reminder. And that's our deep dive into the extraordinary odyssey of the Afo-a-Kom. We hope this exploration has given you a richer understanding of cultural identity and the surprising power a single object can hold to unite a people.
We hope so.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.